Welcome to the Brainz Magazine podcast, a podcast with in-depth interviews and conversations with world-class entrepreneurs, expert coaches, industry leaders, and international celebrities. Get exclusive insight into the world of business, mindset, leadership, and lifestyle with your host, Mark Sefton.
I want to welcome you to the next episode of the Brainz Magazine podcast. And today we have Sanjeev Verma. Sanjeev is a spiritual mentor. He's also a meditation master and also a Jyotish. And I have to admit, Sanjeev, I want to start there. What on earth is a Jyotish? I've never even heard of it.
Okay.
I've never even heard of it.
Okay. Jyotish is the Sanskrit word for Vedic astrology. And the meaning of Jyotish is the god of light.
Okay.
So when we are talking about Jyotish, Vedic astrology, this is the light of the planets, which corresponds with your inner light. And then there is a relationship in the oneness of the universe. And we are all part of it, and everything is part of us. So when we exist, then they exist. And if they exist, then we also exist. So essentially, my first pursuit in my seeking and trying to figure out was the mystery of life, which I'm still trying to, it's an ongoing journey. So, yeah, it was very curious aspect of my own inner being to find out was the connection. See, I was born in India, and in India, astrology is a very profound part of the culture. So I was also touched by that. So wanted to figure it out. What's it? So started to dig into our connection with the matrix, and yeah, to a certain point, yeah, I could understand and could feel the relationship and how it impacts us and how this whole object-subject relativity works. So there are some deeper answers I got. So I started to do that as my service to humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And at a certain point, I wanted to dive deeper into a little bit how this whole thing around karma, the matrix of karma, our whole mind-body mechanism, and then how the whole connection between everything is. And can we go beyond the connection also? So started to go to the next level of trying to find out. And in that pursuit, what I found out is that there is a lot of connection between universe and our being at different levels. So with conscious mind, with subconscious mind, through our feelings, through our heart. So then whole being, even at a cellular level. So that curiosity and that demystifying part of the universe, I landed up in demystifying mind. So the journey took from that place, started up from that place of Jyotish, Vedic astrology, and then started to evolve into more on the spiritual dimension of life. So that's the best answer I can probably give you at this point.
Yeah, so one word, Sanjeev, that really stuck out to me was this word pursuit. And obviously you're in a self-exploration, and
Right.
in your own exploration, you then made sense of some things. Was there a moment in your life that kind of became very significant, which caused this pursuit? Because often when we're looking for something, it's normally when we've had a situation, a wake-up call, or
Yeah,
revelation or realization. Was there a specific moment?
I would say so. So my my innate nature was to find out. You know, there's one part of me which is like I have to know and open the mystery. So I like mysterious movies. I like mystery-based books, and so that is something my part of my nature. And then some things happened in my life where I felt totally out of control. I felt there is no control on life. There is no control in any fashion, in any uh, given time. And I started to feel that everything is just happening and I'm just part of the happening. And in this happening, uh, I started to reach to a conclusion that there is no free will, there is no willpower. I'm just part of this and I'm just being tossed around, you know. So things were really not very good for me in many different ways. And that's something kind of gave me this curiosity that I need to know more. Can I control? Can I put in some perspective to my willpower or my free will? How do I exercise it? If I'm exercising it, is also part of the happening, and that's how it was supposed to be, or it is a delusion I have, or the karma works, doesn't work. I always thought I was a good guy, and I'm always doing good things and right things, and living my life on the right side, trying to be karmically correct. And why there is so much struggle? There is inner struggle and outer struggle, and I was not feeling sad. So it's just coincidentally happened in a way that uh, I met somebody who looked at my horoscope and said, "You're born with a lot of knowledge of astrology, and you are an astrologer, and you are kind of playing this with me and playing innocent and not telling me that you know this subject. I just can't believe that you don't know." I said, honestly, I don't know. I don't know a of this, and if you will teach me, I would be more than happy to learn. And if that's my direction, then let me figure it out. So he said, okay.
Yeah,
So,
that's a great story. It's always
you know,
fascinating.
yeah. So I said, okay, it makes some sense. So let me explore this and see where it takes me. And honestly speaking, I think he was 100% right. I think I was born with something within me. When I started to study that subject, it didn't take me more than 2 nights to finish 2 books. And I felt I know it. And after 2 days, I thought I'm ready to predict. I know it all. I just know it all. And I told him that I think I can predict. He said, "Are you joking? I'm studying this for the last 6 years, and I'm not feeling I'm ready for this. So hold on your horses and cool down." But to my own surprise, literally to my own surprise, and I still wonder, I literally wonder that after a week or so, I started to look into different charts and started to predict and started to play around with it. And he kept telling me, you're getting too much into this risk zone of playing with this because people take it very seriously. And something inside me kept telling me, no, you can't. You can't. So that was my sort of breaking point into this. And then never looked back. Then it was
Mm,
just, and I'm still learning.
mm.
And my thought is that now I can share with other people also, and I'm in that pursuit right now,
Mm,
sharing what maybe I don't know from A to Z of it,
mm,
but probably I know maybe A to J, K, L, M, N, O
mm,
up to that point, and I can hold hand and walk you through that journey up to that point, what I know.
mm,
And it's been fantastic for me. It has been very transforming.
mm,
So I think about time that I, I do that as my sharing, as my service.
mm.
Yeah,
I must ask you, Sanjeev, because
yeah,
this was something that fascinated me about your journey and some of the work that you're doing. I'd love you to talk to me about the seven rights of consciousness.
yes.
What, like, I know that you do a lot of teaching on this. This is like one of your pillars of how you express yourself. But what are those seven rights of consciousness? Would love to know.
Yeah, so we are all born with these rights through our consciousness, and we struggle the most in those rights. So the seven rights are: first right is right to survive. If you look at anything in this universe, anything on the planet, everything is in survival, knowingly or unknowingly. It is our instinct, it is our basic. Everything is survival. Everything is trying to survive also. And that's where the whole nature is functioning
Mm,
at the survival level. Once the survival is secure, then the other things start to come in play, especially for human beings. Now, so after survival, it's right to create. We are creators. We are constantly creating, whether we are creating our environment, creating our destiny, creating our karma, creating our children. We are creators. We are constantly creating. And we are born with that right to create. Then right to abundance. So if you look at the earth, there is plenty, unless some restrictions by certain social structure comes in play. Plenty of food, plenty of water, plenty of air, plenty. There's plenty available. But if it's been not shared as a whole with the whole planet, not divided into countries and controlled, there's plenty. So there's a lot of abundance on the planet. And this abundance is for you. There's plenty of food, plenty of oxygen, plenty of sunlight, plenty of whatever you think of. There's plenty. So normally we connect abundance with financial abundance or abundance of material abundance, you know. So that's fine too. It's all part of the earth. It's all made out of five elements of earth. You buy a car, it's no different than the earth because it has earth's energy. Earth is a living thing. It's a living being. And it has its own soul. It has its own consciousness. It has its own intelligence. So you have the right to the abundance. It's not that you are not allowed to have that car you want because you are some less of a human being. You're not. Nobody is. Everybody is complete in themselves. And to be honest, your human experience is the experience of your consciousness for itself. So it cannot be less. It cannot be small. It cannot vary between you and me. But what comes in the way is mind. And mind is made up of information received through your five senses, which reflects on your pure consciousness and pollutes it, that turns into mind. That's your mind is. So if you know your mind, and that's why I said mind demystified. My course, one of the courses is mind demystified course. So if you know your mind, and if you can use it as your best friend, you can have a profound experience of this life. So the fourth right is right to love and be loved. It is very natural for us. Everybody is kind of either trying to give love or seek love, And I say there is no need for to seek or give. Because when you're seeking or giving, that means you don't have it. And if you don't have it, and you're trying to find it from someone else, in someone else, and that person is also seeking the same thing, do you think is going to able to share that with you? Maybe it would be a delusion of love. So if you're filled with love, which is your basic nature, you have to reconnect back. And once you do that, love is pouring out of you. And then you are lovable. Everybody loves you. This is not something you seek. You're born with. It is part of you. Same thing with happiness, joy. Everything we are seeking outward. We are actually born with that, and it's part of our consciousness. And if we know that right, and we know how to connect with it, it is going to definitely be a transforming experience you're going to be having. Another one is the right to be healthy. And we are constantly trying to be healthy or seeking health. Again, the body knows. Body wants to live healthy. Everything wants to be healthy within yourself and function to the best. But what we do is, again, through our five senses or through our mind, we mess that up. Maybe wrong eating habits, wrong way of thinking, psychosomatic symptoms coming up on your body, reflecting on your body as a health issue. Your energy is stuck within you. So you're angry and you could not express that anger because of various reasons. The energy is powerful. It rises in you. It creates a knot in your being. And that knot turns into some disease or some block and causes health issues. No? But health is our natural self. So something goes wrong somewhere, which throws off your body-mind mechanism and reflects as an illness or disease or paranoia of bad health. And then right to be happy. We are supposed to be happy beings. We are not supposed to be in the pursuit of happiness. And all the happiness we get is all temporary, the pursuit. But if you can be blissful, peaceful, tranquil, happy for no reason, then you are experiencing it for no reason. When a flower blooms, it is not dependent on anything. It is in its total joyful, happy state of the bloom, We are constantly blocking that bloom within ourselves. And then we are looking for it outside. So if you really pick up any aspect of your life and start to look at the end result of it, as did it really give you happiness, all pursuits, where do they really end up in the end? So everything is so temporary, so temporarily giving you joy. No. But our being is really, really that. And then the seventh right is the right to spirituality. And we are caught into this identification of ourselves as I'm Mark, I'm Sanjeev, I'm this person. If I ask you who you are, you can come out with more than 100 identifications in a very short period of time. But you are none of that. And as every religion, every aspect of spiritual pursuit or spiritual dimension has mentioned that you are a soul, you are a spirit in the end, you know. So what is the spirituality? Is the science of knowing your spirit or knowing your soul, and everything else is a tool to know that. And it is again the highest pursuit you can have on this planet, or higher purpose you can have, to know the real you instead of who you have been told to be as other people's perception projected on you, you know. So you are either a bundle of perceptions of other people as you believe in that, and it becomes your perception of yourself, in which you have lost yourself completely, not knowing who you are. So literally the pursuit of spirituality is to get out of all conditionings, all belief systems, all perceptions, and go into this space and exploring that from a place of no identity. And that direction is something a very, very profound direction. And once you tap into that, then all your seven different, or I would say other six rights through your consciousness, they flourish automatically. There is no struggle for anything.
It's amazing. So the seven are survive, create, abundance, love and be loved, healthy, happiness, and spirituality. The couple that kind of stood out for me, one was when you were talking about happiness and you were talking about the flower and how it blooms. And it very much reminds me of we need to be more and not focus on the doing so much. It's on the being, right? It's just presenting yourself as you are.
Exactly. Because if you are going to depend on, so coming back to the example of flower. So flower depends on a human being to look at it and say, oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it smells very nice. Then it's dependent. But it's not. In reality, it's not. It doesn't care whether somebody is watching it or not. It might be a beautiful flower in a jungle, and nobody's looking at it, but it is living its life to the fullest. We are so much so trying to be recognized by somebody else for our own presence, and not knowing that you are present in your fullness. If I'm living on Himalayas in a cave, I'm living my life to the fullest. It doesn't matter if somebody looks at me, somebody interacts with me. It is not dependent on that. So the more we allow the other to observe me for my existence, less I am.
Yeah.
So if I have to live my human experience to the maximum, then it's not dependent on anything or anyone.
Yeah,
It is
exactly.
how I am inward, where I am inside. My happiness is not dependent on anyone else or anything else. If
Exactly.
I'm blooming, I'm blooming. Nobody sees it, it's fine. Anybody sees it, it's fine. I'm joyful, I'm joyful.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to come and share the joy, more than welcome.
Yeah.
But I'm not dependent.
Yeah.
That's called living, true living, then, you know?
It is. The other one that really stuck was around health, because I the correlation between like the emotional trauma and challenge we have in life and how that manifests in the body is massive.
Yeah,
Like, it's unbelievable. Like, for me, the result of our inner healing, it has a direct impact on our physical well-being. It's like absolutely crazy how powerful
yeah,
that journey is.
yeah. And there are many examples of people, those who were in a very bad physical state, and they changed their feelings and changed their emotions. They had this awakening. Then that started to heal. Body wants to heal, constantly wants to heal. It wants to come back to the healthiest optimum level. You know?
Mm.
So if we, yeah, so that's living its life to the maximum. That little fly you have there
I think it's a spider. I think it was a money
is
spider.
this. I would let it live. Okay, be happy on my on Mark's mic. Happy place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
The other thing you talked about was about the mind and working
yeah,
with your mind. How do we
yeah,
learn to not fight our minds? Because it's always something like, I'm an overthinker, right? So
yeah,
while I'm absolutely a feeler and I'm very intuitive, I
yeah,
also, my mind like is on overdrive. H-
yeah.
How do we learn to not fight our minds? What's the best thing we can do for our mind?
Yeah, in my courses, I have a whole one course on do not fight with your mind. That's the title of that. Don't fight with your mind. Because see, the thing is, the mind which is fighting with another is your mind. Okay. This hand is fighting with this hand. You know, that spider is hiding behind now. So it's in a safe zone, in survival mode. Knows now Mark is looking at me, looking for me, so knows intuitively hiding. Is exercising his right to survive through his own consciousness. Okay. So it's just like one hand fighting with another. Who's going to win? Nobody's going to win. Now, see, conscious mind lives in duality. This is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. All duality is part of your belief system, your conditionings, your own perception of things. So when you are fighting with your mind, that means a shadow side of you. So describe it better, I would say there are two sides of you. One is a shadow side and one is a light side. Everybody has that. We are all born with it. Even the purest of the purest people, or say so-called monks, even they can have the worst possible thought, and it can randomly pop up in them or can get triggered through an object. But it is there, it's part of them because they were exposed. So when we are exposed to so much good and bad both in our lives, and maybe these days maybe more bad because it is easy access to media, easy access to information. Something is happening in Australia. It's not part of my reality. But if I see a clip of that, it starts to become a part of my reality in my own shadow side.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't belong to it. I've got nothing to do with it. I'm not even there, but yet it is becoming part of me through this information source. So this information source is so much so in our hands that we are constantly getting information. So our dark side, I think in today's world, the darker side or the shadow side has become more prevalent, has become more stronger, more expanded. And our light side has become more shadowed by the shadow, which is the unreal. The light is the real thing. You know? So the thing is not to fight with your mind, but replace your shadow side to your light side. How do you do that? You replace a negative thought with a positive thought. You replace a negative thought with a positive feeling. You allow it to come. You be the observer of your thoughts. So say a bad thought is coming and you are observing it, it will stop in its tracks. If you can really consciously witnessing it, it will stop. It's like a thief. You don't want that. That's why you're fighting. So this thief is going to try to hide. Where is going to hide? It's going to hide back into that same shadow. It will remain there. But whenever you are going to give it support, whenever you're going to give it any air, it will rise. It is there. Because it has been part of your either conscious exposure or unconscious exposure. It is there and will remain there. So never fight with your bad thoughts or any kind of thoughts. They are part of you. They are part of your being. You know, they are part of your experience. That's how you know it is a bad thought. You know, you recognize it as a bad experience of yourself, which you are not liking, because every single thought has an energetic, instant reaction on your whole being.
Yeah.
And you're not liking that yucky feeling, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I like how you say about observing the thought, though, like really become better at observing rather than participating. It's kind of going into that spectator mode rather than that participator mode.
Exactly. Because the more you will observe it, the more thought also knows that the boss is watching me. The owner of the house is watching me. And it then starts to subside.
Yeah, exactly.
Or another thing is you just replace it quickly with another thought. I had developed a mechanism for myself, and I can share with your audience here. Anytime I will have a negative thought, I would start to give myself this instruction that I'm dissolving and replacing this thought by repeating Om 5 times. Om is a universal sound, so I take help. You can give yourself an instruction with the word love. I'm going to replace this. So it immediately goes. It's gone. The whole, even the impact the energetic impact on your being is also gone.
Mm.
And when you are repeating, say, love, love, love inside,
Mm-hmm.
silently, I'm talking to you and a bad thought is coming about you and I want to replace it, my mechanism kicks in automatically and I start to send you love, you know, and that's over.
Yeah.
It's over, changed, done, over, finished. So essentially, I don't know if you believe in karma or not, but I was born with this whole philosophy of karma. So I'm so much so tied to it.
Mm.
And there are a lot of misconceptions about karma.
Mm.
So even a slightest impression in your being is a karmic impression, to make it more simplified.
Mm.
Good or bad, doesn't
Mm.
matter.
Mm.
That becomes part of you, as an experience. And then it has a vibrational field. It has
Yeah.
a frequency and it turns around, goes out and comes back.
Mm. Yeah.
So I would say uh, even that shifts when you start to shift that.
Yeah. It's very good. I know that we're running out of time, but I need to ask this question because for me,
Absolutely.
this one is something that I kind of, when I was looking at your work, this was something in particular that I really kind of like stood out and kind of blinked at me several times.
Sure.
One is probably because for many of us, especially in the UK, we're obviously changing seasons now. We actually have been reacquainted with the sunshine after 5 months of its absence, and so we're thinking about travel, we're thinking about vacation. So one thing that really popped out of something that I saw that you wrote about that I really wanted to make sure that we got in before we ended this interview is really, why should we meditate when we travel? Like for me, that was like, I want to hear about that.
Okay. So see, when you're traveling and you're on a plane, okay, so there is either you're going to engage yourself in a movie or engage yourself into something which is either eating or talking or so you're sitting on your chair, you just cannot do much in that plane, right? Maybe you can stroll a little bit but you can't do much, so you have that plenty of time. And when you have that time and you want to utilize it, you just close your eyes and you go in. So that is one. Nobody is going to come and disturb you, really. That is one of the best ways to uh, kill your time in a way and get the best out of it by going in. Another thing I have noticed as my personal experience, maybe it is different for different people. When you are away from the gravitational pull of the earth, a little bit up there in the air, your energetic field is easy to lift upward. And I find it much more connecting in my forehead and crown of my head, my upper part, into my inner upper sky. And I love to do it. It takes me, I feel that I'm in the space, and this space is part of my inner space. So I'm able to connect my outer and inner space much more easily.
Mm.
And I feel literally limitless at that moment. I
Mm.
feel my physical existence is gone and I'm in this limitless part of this universe, is this whole uh, vacuum, or it's very silent. It's beautiful for me, you
Mm.
know.
Mm.
So I would recommend try that. And if you have lost your physical identity at that time, literally you will feel as if you are an astronaut in the space. So maybe
Beautiful.
the whole environment gives me that
Mm.
feeling or vibe that I'm conscious of, okay, now I'm in the space 30,000 feet above, and I'm here, physically here. So why not take advantage of that?
Absolutely.
By one with that,
Absolutely. I'd never heard of it. And so many people love travel, don't they? So for me, this is something that needs to be heard.
Yeah. And one another thing about that, based on my experience of that, I created a limitless meditation. And that meditation you can do sitting on in this room here, and try to get the same experience of that, being in the oneness of the universe without your physical identity. So it's part of my daily practice. I enjoy it a lot. Phenomenal question. Phenomenal. I never thought you are going to ask me that question.
Really good. Sanjeev,
Awesome.
we've literally run out of time, but how do people find out more about you and your work?
Yeah, I would say they can visit my website, minddemystified.com, and they can reach out to me from there if they want to, or there are some courses listed. They can go with them. There are some articles. There are some other things there. There's quite a bit there, and they can, So minddemystified.com is my website. And if they want to get a reading done or want to explore the Vedic astrology aspect, then they can go to Jyotish. I would say they can go to my another website, which is sanjeevsv.com. So SanjeevSV.com. That's my other website. Yeah.
Beautiful. And then finally, because I feel like this is really important, and it'll need to be concise and precise. But Sanjeev, is there anything intuitively that you just want to very quickly share?
I would say the best thing you can do for yourself is to step into your spiritual damage. It's needed more than ever before. And if you approach your outer from inner, you are a winner on both ends.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining me, Sanjeev, on today's Brainz Magazine podcast.
Thank you so much for having me over here and gave me the opportunity to share my thoughts. Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining this episode with me, Mark Sefton. I hope you've really enjoyed it. Feel free to leave us a positive review on iTunes, and I look forward to welcoming you back to the next episode of the Brainz Magazine podcast.